The cinema or your sofa? Big stream or big screen? Where are you going to spend your hard earned money? That's what we try and help you figure out.
Let's get ready to rumble!
We are Netflix versus Cinema, and that is the name of the game. My name is Tosin, and I am the host based up in a place called Bromsgrove near Birmingham in the middle of the United Kingdom. Joining me, as always, on the Isle of Wight is Sharon Bollen.
Hello.
Joining us from London is Holly Nesling.
Hello.
Yes, and you are joining us in what we're told is about to be the fourth heat wave of the summer. Or what people like me who grew up in Nigeria just call summer. That's what summer's supposed to be. but yeah, the fourth heat wave of the summer. So if you can hear a little bit of whirring, that is because we're trying not to die. We're trying not to die. I mean, I'll tell you one thing I've learned about, I've really, really appreciated throughout this whole heat wave madness is trees. Trees are awesome.
Yes. Also, I'd say also shutting your blinds during the day and opening everything up at night.
Yes, that's also another good tip. Shut the blinds, open the windows, but shut the blinds during the day. Then at night, open the windows and leave the blinds open. But trees, because if anybody's seen any of this on video, like on Spotify or something like that, you see that I seem to be in some sort of wood cabin. But this wood cabin is totally covered by trees at the end of my garden because we have quite a few trees in my garden. And that makes me sound a lot richer than I actually am. But it's nice and lovely. I got this breeze going through. I don't even need a fan in here. And I'm like, I will never call myself a tree hugger, but I'm like, no, we need more trees because they do things like this. Shade is brilliant, and trees are the best things at providing shade. But enough about Tosin's ecological corner. What have we been seeing recently? What have we seen in the cinema? Sharon?
Well, I'm still riding the wave of the Odyssey, so I haven't seen anything else yet. I wasn't bursting to go and see Spider-Man on its opening release, so I haven't seen anything new, basically.
Well, yeah, I think apart from the Odyssey, there's hardly been anything because everyone's running away from the Odyssey because it's making all the money. Yeah. And the only people and Spider-Man Brand New Day is I was actually thinking, it's released today. Maybe I can go see it before the podcast. But no, pretty much Spider-Man Brand New Day started its first showing, I think anywhere, was as we pressed record. So there's no way we could have seen it before we record. So no. Yes. So yeah, it's now on, and hopefully it should be. I'm hearing good things, and hopefully next week we will tell you what Spider-Man Brand New Day is like. But unfortunately, not today. Holly, anything in cinemas?
No, but I will on Sunday. I'm hoping for a triple bill.
Triple bill on Sunday. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
what is on your triple bill?
Well, we're hoping we might manage the Odyssey in the IMAX. We shall see. And then I suspect Spider-Man and something else, not yet confirmed. It will be a
Odyssey is about 4 hours long when you add the adverts in.
Yes, it's requiring some planning. It will definitely be 2, 3 maybe over optimistic.
I was going to say that. I was going to be like, well, the Odyssey, once you put the Odyssey in there, that's half a day. You're kind of like, just sort of like writing off. But it's like,
we're lagging behind though, so we've got a lot of catching up to do.
Well, yeah, it depends on also what else is out there. Okay, but in cinemas, I managed to see The Invite because I had this, because people have been talking about The Invite and there's been like a little bit of buzz about it. And I had this sneaking suspicion that this was going to be the last week it was going to be in cinemas. And it turns out I was right. And I managed to sneak in there just before it went out. But for a film, it was one of the smallest screens. There were actually quite a few people there. I would say it was about 80% full to see this small film that pretty much only has 4 people in it. But it's so yeah, I saw The Invite. How about at home? What have we seen at home? Holly, we'll go with you.
I have seen the subtly more sensible, relatively speaking, a Deep Water. And
yes,
the even less sensible Jurassic Shark.
Jurassic Shark. So, if you've been listening to us for a while, you realize that so I know Sharon and I know Holly, and I met both of you independently of each other. But when we started doing the podcast and when we invited Holly to come join us on the podcast, we realized that Holly and Sharon share this 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 baffling love, absolutely, absolutely baffling love of bad shark movies. Not shark movies, bad shark movies.
Oh,
It
yeah.
must be bad. And I mean, when Holly sent this message through earlier, Holly sent the message saying, "Oh yeah, and I've seen Deepwater, which I know the story of Deepwater, so I know it is a bad shark movie." And then the film on the nose described Jurassic Shark. I was just kind of like, oh, I think I think my words to you, Holly, were never knowingly off-brand.
That is
Other
me.
is I know that you use Claude, the AI tool Claude, quite a bit, and I reckon that you have figured out a way of getting Claude to give you an alert anytime a bad shark movie is released. It's just kind of like a bat signal goes up, and Holly is like, "I am needed." You drop
I am-
whatever it is to go find this bad shark movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
When we first met, my quiz team was called Sharktopus because we were named after a notoriously bad film, and then the film was called 50% Shark, 50% Octopus, 100% Deadly. And that was our quiz team. We were part octopus, part shark, all deadly. So
I remember the
quite
poster
interesting.
for that film. I remember that poster for that film. It was essentially a shark head with octopus legs.
Yeah. And it
I
could
remember
climb
the poster.
trees, it could scale walls and buildings, it was a very nimble octopus, sharktopus.
Yeah, I never saw the film, but I remember the poster.
Oh, there were about 3 or 4 of them, and then there was like Sharktopus versus whale wolf, which I saw.
I remember there was Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus.
Yeah, but Sharktopus, he had various different sort of arch nemesis as well.
Okay.
I used to have the thing about bad zombie movies, so I watched The Attack of the Lederhosen Zombie one afternoon. And no one else had ever heard of it. But there is a whole, that's a whole other podcast. But there are loads of really bad zombie films out there as well. So I love the bad shark movies, and I also love the bad zombie movie as well.
Okay,
That may yet
Sharon.
be added to my list. And also, there is a shark film called what's it? Is it Dracula Shark or Vampire Shark? About a great white shark that was bitten by Dracula.
Okay. All right. All
When
right.
I find it, I will let you know.
I was going to say that I think we might be scraping the bottom of the barrel, but I actually don't think that's true. I feel like the barrel might have depths that I have yet to discover.
Don't you think
I think
so?
this particular
Yes.
barrel. I think this particular barrel might have depths I'm yet to discover. So it's okay. But Sharon, I'll tell you what, right? You were saying about bad zombie movies. I think that you've just answered your own question as to what to do with the rest of your free trial of Prime Video, because if there's anywhere to find bad fill in the blank movies, Prime Video is it. As Sean has been showing us by showing up each week and kind of going, "Ooh, I found Dynamite Dan, blah blah blah," and all this kind of stuff. There is a preponderance for bad whatever movies on or like what was that called? It was Velocipastor.
I still haven't seen that. I can't wait to see it.
Just what? Okay, cool. All right, cool. So let us kick off. We have the invite. Oh, sorry, actually, I didn't ask Sharon what you've seen at home.
I have only seen Clarkson's Farm season 5. So we know what we're getting with the Clarkson's Farm series.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we even need to review it.
Okay, maybe not. So I'll tell you what. You can ask Holly questions about Holly. You're gonna have to pick one. Pick one: Jurassic Shark or Deepwater.
Can I talk about Deepwater but give you a very brief 30-second summary of Jurassic Shark? Because it will
Yes,
not
you
take
may.
more than that. And then Sharon is also welcome to ask questions about that.
You
Because we
always
may
say
have a-
that.
Because we may have a
You al-
successor to Neil Breen.
You always say that, but then we end up there, and it's been 10 minutes, and we're still talking about this terrible CGI shark. But
I provide the summary in 30 seconds. The failing is
you can
not
provide the
mine. Just
all right,
saying.
cool. let us fire away that. Let us fire away, and we're gonna kick off. And we're gonna start off with yeah, in cinemas as we usually do, and we're gonna kick off with The Invite. So The Invite is a film that you, let me put it this way, you watch this film and you straight away go, this used to be a play. Because the entire thing is in, it's always, apart from about 5 minutes at the beginning, it's all in one location. And it is in a San Francisco apartment that is in which you meet Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen, who play a married couple, Angela and Joe. And you find that he is a teacher. He teaches at a music college somewhere nearby. She is, from what we can see, a stay-at-home mom. And the first time you see her, she is just seemingly getting things ready for a dinner. She's getting things ready for a dinner, and it turns out that they have some upstairs neighbors who are played by, who are called Hawk and Pina, played by Ed Norton well, what's her name? Penelope Cruz. Yeah, Penelope Cruz. Yeah, and that is essentially what you have for the, and that's essentially that. Those are the only people you see in this film. Those are the only people you see in this entire film. And it's essentially one of these films where it's like it starts off with a quote by Oscar Wilde, shows up on screen. And it's something like, one must always seek to be happy, ... And that is why one must never get married. Oscar Wilde. And that kind of tells you the kind of thing that you're going through. It's one of those films where a happy married couple is going to be rarer than hen's teeth. So so Seth Rogen comes back home. Olivia Wilde is walking around. She's getting the food ready and all that. She is really, really stressing about this, telling him not to eat the cheese. He's like, "What's going on?" She's like, "Oh, our neighbors are coming around for dinner." He's like, "You didn't tell me about this." She said, "I told you about this yesterday. What's going on with you?" Blah 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 blah. And you can see that they very, very. They're very good at like communicating this marriage that has been going on for a while and has gone to the point where they have begun to resent each other, and they resent each other, but they haven't necessarily voiced their resentment towards each other. But like, you know, that's the kind of vibe. And then you have Edward Norton and Penelope Cruz, and they show up, and they are around about the same age, but they're not married. They are kind of like, they are in the throes of the relationship. They seem to like, one of the big problems that Seth Rogen has that becomes like a recurring theme is that he's going to bring it up to their neighbors that their loud love making has been keeping him up at night. And Olivia Wilde is all like, "No, you can't tell them that. Oh my God, you can't tell them that. Oh, you're going to embarrass me." And you can see that she's really, really worried about being embarrassed. She really wants to impress the neighbors, and he doesn't really like them, and he doesn't even want to have this dinner, and there's all this stuff going on. And it's a very talky film because it used to be a play. It's a very talky film, and but they make good use of the apartment, because the apartment's supposed to be like, they talk about the fact that it's supposed to be quite an affluent apartment. There's different parts of it. There's bits where they have like a two-hander between Penelope Cruz and Seth Rogen go off somewhere, Edward Norton and Olivia Wilde go off somewhere, and it goes into, as it does in Hollywood, if you have two couples, there's going to be some sort of like sexual discussion about blah blah blah, maybe partner swapping, who knows, blah 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 blah, all that kind of stuff. So this film has been getting a lot of, and that's pretty much that's about the plot. That these four people get into an apartment, and then it unfolds over the next 100 minutes or so, whatever happens about what secrets people have been keeping from what people and everything kind of stuff, and what this film was beginning a lot of rave reviews. People have been talking about how great it is and talking about all possibility of Oscars, because this is also directed by Olivia Wilde, who also stars in the film. And I think she's done quite well. I mean, I think for a certain type of film fan, Olivia Wilde is kind of catnip, because she did Booksmart and she did Don't Worry Darling, and this is her third film as director. And I personally, at some point, I got bored. I think I got bored, and I think part of that might be I have an aversion to films that seem to say, "Oh well, you know, you get married and it's all downhill from there." And that seems to be something, that seems to be a well that Hollywood goes back to again and again and again. This one is better sketched. I'll give them that this one is better sketched than a lot of these films, in that it is understandable, and it's the breakdown of the relationship that's been shown is understandable. And I think the characters, well, the Seth Rogen character could be seen to be, I think I've heard people call him quite annoying. There were some times when I actually sided with him. I was like, no, that's a very valid point that he's making there. And yeah, essentially I got bored at some point, but I thought it was good, and I think that the final scene of this film is actually quite touching. All in all, I am not as up on this film as the people who are yelling for Oscars are. I would probably, I know people have said things like the best film they've seen this year, that kind of thing. Not for me. Not for me. I would give this a 3 out of 5 because I think it's good, but after a while, I'm just kind of like, you're just doing the indie thing and you're just taking your time and just get it over with and tell me what you're trying to say. Get it over with and reveal the whole thing. And I think I would have been a lot more with this film if it had been run about the 90-minute mark. But it goes in a little bit longer than that because I think it's trying to be artistic and doesn't quite work for me. So that's for me for the invite. I would say 3 out of 5. Any questions?
No, I think you know what you're going to get with a film like that.
Yeah, I guess cinema or home.
Oh yes, whether I watch this at cinema or wait for it to show up at home, I would wait for it to show up at home. I mean, I think it's the thing with smaller films that had ever since we started asking ourselves that question of whether we should watch it at the cinema or watch it at home. With a smaller film, I always feel like the danger that you are running is that you don't know when it's going to show up at home, and you don't know whether it's going to get a distributor. But the fact that this has Edward Norton, Penelope Cruz, and the fact I think that was enough to, because as I said, the cinema was about 80% full when I went there, and it was enough to bring people to the cinema to watch it. But I would say I don't think you would miss anything whatsoever by watching this at home instead of watching this at the cinema. So yeah, that's it. That's it for me. All right, cool. And now we go over to streaming and stuff because obviously there's nothing else in cinemas that we haven't already spoken about because the Odyssey, apart from Spider-Man Brand New Day, but that's for next week. And yeah, and now we go back over to the main event, and we are going to talk Deep Water, which is on Prime Video, I believe.
It is on Prime Video. It is just out, and I came in contact with it. This is an important addition as part of my weekend terrible film viewing with my friend Jen in the Caymans. And she suggested Deep Water, and I thought, good Lord, we're going to have something truly terrible here. I didn't realise it was going to be terrible, but with a good cast. Deep Water, film about pilots, people, plane flying from the US to China. Perfectly straightforward. The opening involves some very sad-looking scenes with Aaron Eckhart, who is clearly sad about stuff, and there is water and loveliness, so you go, ah yes, water, movement, spirit, and all that jazz. And then everybody's heading off the plane, and there's this guy hanging out outside the airport who is insisting on smoking, and it's clearly very difficult and is quite unpleasant, and you see him, he's sort of faffing around with a charging brick, and you see the very obvious charging brick being zipped into the suitcase, so you know what's coming. It's terribly au courant. So off we go, he's heading onto the plane. We have Aaron Eckhart, who is first officer, and why is my Ben Kingsley, who is
Ben Kingsley, yeah.
When I say surprisingly good cast, I genuinely mean surprisingly good cast. And off they go on the plane, and there are all sorts of people getting on the plane, and there are different personalities that all become clear, that are all every form of random stereotype you can think of. And they get on the plane, and there are people interacting on the plane in all of the random stereotypical ways you would imagine, including the parents, relatively recently married parents of two now step-siblings, where the daughter, who is like 10, is not getting on very well with her 7-year-old stepbrother. There are many, many predictable things here. And
is there a singing nun?
No.
Is there a singing nun by any chance? Because I miss that in these airplane films.
Sadly, no singing nuns. That would probably have been a nice addition. No singing nuns, no singing, I don't think. So, unsurprisingly, there ends up being a fire on the plane. Who would have thought? It was a deep surprise. I had not seen that coming. There is a fire. Bits of the plane fly off, bits of the plane fly out, people fly out of the plane. It's all very dramatic. The plane breaks in half. Ben Kingsley manages to safely land the plane in the ocean with the assistance of Aaron Eckhart, who is clearly family matters, ill child, dead child? Not sure. And the plane is in the water, the plane is in parts in the water. Small children, how do we save everybody? Drama, excitement, plane sinking, sharks.
Yes.
The horrible man still alive. Horrible man not immediately eaten by shark. I'm not going to spoil what might happen to the horrible man, though, because that was wrong of me. It very happily steals details from many other famous shark films, including Deep Blue Sea. It is an entirely watchable, very mediocre film, and I'm being kind with mediocre. And I don't know, I'm assuming that Aaron Eckhart and Ben Kingsley are really hard up at the moment, because otherwise, why?
Well, you see now this is the thing, right? Because when you
So?
say that, like, you say about this cast and everything like that, and when you said like it steals details from Deep Blue Sea, let me just sort of say that it chimes with what I thought Ben Kingsley was doing in this film. I don't think Ben Kingsley is going to be in this film for long, and the thing is,
Longer
this
than
film is
you
directed
expect.
by.
Longer than you would expect,
But
and
it
not
is,
a comedy death.
you know, the thing is, the film is directed by Rennie Harlin, him of Long Kiss Goodnight, Die Hard 2, Cutthroat Island fame. Yeah, and he who seems to have spent a lot of the times in the last decade or so in the Strangers world and expanding the Strangers universe, and it just I feel like he still has a good contacts book, so he can still get some people in to do him a favor. Hence, Aaron Eckhart, Ben Kingsley. I saw a poster that had Sean Bean on it, but I think that might have been a mistake.
Yeah, I thought it was Sean Bean as well, but I think it may be just a weird picture of Aaron Eckhart.
Oh,
Okay, that is. I feel like that is AI just totally getting confused, because
Yes, but they don't
that
actually look
poster
like each
was.
other.
They don't look like each other, but that poster definitely looks like Sean Bean.
I does. I saw the same one, and when I went and looked, I was like, why is Sean Bean not in this? I thought Sean Bean was it, but I didn't expect Sean Bean to be in this because it's clearly a ridiculous film, which
Yeah,
does not mean that Sean Bean would not be in it.
yeah.
I mean, it's thoroughly watchable. It's trash. I mean, it's really bad CGI sharks. I mean, really, really bad. Having also, which I may be briefly allowed to speak about, watched Jurassic Shark. The CGI sharks are not that much better in Jurassic Shark. They are better, but they're actually as bad as some of the ones we've seen recently in bad shark films. I was really quite taken back. Also, they have sharks that can swim backwards, so very Deep Blue Sea.
So wait, just one thing. I went on to Amazon just as you were talking because I was pretty sure that there was another film that got slated called Deep Water that was on Amazon Video. There's a film called Deep Water starring Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas in it that was done 2022 and totally different. That's supposed to be like, I want to be Basic Instinct or something like that. But yeah. Also, so apparently. The lesson is if you make a film, don't call it Deep Water, because
I mean,
because
Deep Water Horizon, arguably a good example. I mean, a correct name, not a cheerful film.
Yeah. But it seems like if you put Deep Water, you might be able to attract some well-known people to it, but it might not be good for the film. But also going on about, I was talking about Prime Video being the place to find rubbish, and we were talking about shark movies. As I open Prime Video to look for Deep Water to everything like that, the first thing that comes up on the banner, that comes up in front of you, I'm sorry for anybody who's listening to this. You will not be able to see this, but I am going to attempt to share. I'm going to attempt to share this with Sharon and with Holly to show you the first thing that came up. When I came up, it wasn't Kate Beckinsale doing her Amazon kick-ass film things. This was the first thing. This was the first thing that came up.
Yes, I saw that. It looks awful.
A film called The Devil's Mouth, which once again, this has Catherine Newton in it, who is a good actress, and all you can see is. Yes. Yeah, if you can see this video at the moment, it's just essentially you have like an opening to a cave that looks like a shark fin with a shark swimming through the opening. I mean, a bit on the nose, but then there's just like young people being dragged left, right, and center by that. So yeah, there you go. You're welcome, Holly. You're welcome, Sharon. The Devil's Mouth, Sharon. That's what you're gonna go watch on Prime Video.
And also, I'm really sorry, Tosin. I've broken your algorithm. You're just going to get shark films.
Possibly. I didn't That is, I didn't even look for that. I didn't even look for that. All of us, it just came up and gave me the devil's mouth. But okay, so anyway, how many stars are we looking at? How many stars are we looking at for Deepwater?
This is the combined score.
I'm going to go 2. Maybe 2.5 if I were feeling really generous. But this is not a good film. The sharks are bad. The backwards swimming sharks are bad. They're just not good sharks.
It just sounds like it's just not good anything.
No, and they're not recognisable as any type of shark, which is quite annoying because I appreciate it's silly and they don't specify it, but if your plane crashes in the middle of the ocean, what you're going to be dealing with is oceanic whitetips. These are not oceanic whitetips, nor are they tiger sharks. They're some kind of weird, stupid shark. So you're just like, so you have a stupid film with stupid things happening with stupid people. Oh, there are some good arcs in there as well, because of course there are. But there was an easy opportunity to have a, slightly, they would have done themselves favours if they had made the sharks vaguely not really stupid. And frankly, I'm fairly sure ChatGPT could create me better sharks.
Well, because we have got, I was thinking recently, obviously, well, not that recently, we had like Under Paris, which was a shark film, but it actually was it was a good film. It was, they had sharks, they had a good tension, they had a good drama. So it can be done that you can make, a ridiculous, idea into something that's actually quite decent. So it can be done. It's not like guaranteed that you make a shark film and it's going to be toot. But
but crucially, under Paris or Sur la Seine is French, so it's not Hollywood.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Jurassic
was not a winner either, was it? So on Netflix.
Thrash.
That was the one with Jimon Hunsu in it.
Yes, with the hurricane and the bitey one. Yeah, I saw that.
That was the one. That was the one that essentially took the premise and the set of Crawl and just replaced all the alligators with sharks.
But the sharks were way better. They were better than in
Deepwater.
So
yeah, because I've heard really bad things about the backgrounds as well in Deepwater. That they're obviously fake. Like that it's just kind of like made. It looks like it was made for 50p. But all right, okay, cool. So you asked for a minute to talk about Jurassic Shark. Please go.
It is a film where there are some people who've been drilling for oil and they stopped drilling for oil and they're drilling for stuff and I don't quite understand why. And there is a lake and the lake is probably on an island, but I'm not absolutely sure that it's on an island. And apparently stuff is going on and there are people on the island and in the lake, and then there are some people who have stolen a painting for reasons, and there are people who are there to make a film because one of them is trying to do a film studies course, and they're going to film about the oil drilling that isn't happening because of the other thing that's happening that doesn't make any sense, and there's a megalodon in the lake, and then the megalodon eats some people and doesn't eat some other people, and I don't understand why, and it didn't make any sense, but there were quite a lot of prolonged running through forest scenes which made the island seem bigger, but I'm also still not absolutely sure whether or not the island was in a lake, on a lake, around a lake. It made no sense. But it was Neil Breen level weird. So there's clearly, and there was clearly commitment to being really random and long shots and poor acting and emotional save my sister type things. It was touching in a weird. It wasn't, but it was meant to be.
That is entirely too much plot for a film called Jurassic Shark. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but
we had the people who were there to film the thing that wasn't happening. Then we had the back plot with the people who had created the thing that meant there was the Jurassic Shark that may or may not have been in a lake because Holly doesn't pay a lot of attention when things are this stupid. And then the people who had stolen the painting, and the painting had ended up in the middle of the lake for reasons.
You don't need a subplot. shark film
The
like
woman who
that.
was there was a woman leading the crime gang who'd stolen the painting, and she had her hair in plaited pigtails, and it was very irritating because her hair was too thin for that, and it should have been in a French plait or a bun. I appreciate that was not the most annoying thing about it, but it really got up my nose. Poor hair.
I'm also trying to. I'm also thinking that if it's a shark movie running through a forest, I don't understand.
There was you didn't see very much of the shark, and when you did, well, I mean, it was a worse shark, I'll grant you, than Deepwater shark. Deepwater, it was a particularly bad. It was Neil Breen style shark. So there's a certain je ne sais quoi.
Okay.
I am glad to have watched it. I do not recommend anybody else does unless they are looking to go down a weird rabbit hole of people who shouldn't be allowed to make films.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But if so, I'm more than happy to provide details.
Okay, we are duty bound to ask the question: who do you think has won this week, Netflix or cinema?
I think it might have been cinema. I can't imagine why.
Okay, yeah, I think it is cinema. I think it is cinema. So yeah, go if you can still find it. Watch The Invite, even though I would say stay home, watch, or just go watch The Odyssey, or go watch Spider-Man. You can go watch Spider-Man now. Quite frankly, by the time we review Spider-Man, you will probably already have your idea. You probably already have gone online, and you probably already have expressed your idea or your views on Spider-Man: Brand New Day and what you think about that. But until next week, when I shall watch Spider-Man: Brand New Day anyway. Sean, if he's no, he said he's going to miss that one as well. I think that's his last week away. So, but we'll find out about. Get off me! Sorry, we'll find out. But actually, quickly, Sharon, you've Odyssey'd, right?
Yes.
Okay, quickly tell us, what did you think of Odyssey?
I reviewed it with you last time, but
Did
I
you?
liked it. Yeah, I was with
yeah,
you.
you did. Good God, I'm getting old. So,
But whereas
Yeah,
next week I should have done, so I will.
it was Holly who hasn't seen it. Yes.
You haven't seen it yet. I saw it with a brother and a nephew, so I enjoyed it,
Yes.
and we all enjoyed it.
So listen to last week's show. Listen to last week's show to figure out what Sharon thought.
Yeah,
What?
Sharon and I are not the same person.
Yeah.
I know.
I know.
I know.
But you can't tell white women apart now, can you? We all
No,
look
no,
the
no, I
same.
cannot. No, I cannot. That's okay. Yeah, all the same. All right, cool. So anyway, until next week, in which I shall go to the HR seminar about how white women do not all look the same. Go.
Sorry about that. I shouldn't have made myself laugh.
Watch Spider-Man: Brand New Day. It is a goodbye from me.
So goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Yes, do follow us on all social media platforms that you can find us. Netflix via cinema. Thank you very much for joining us.